who's really agitated. Now, again, a little backstory. During this period of time, the mental hospitals were playing a game with us. Now, we had set criteria that people had to be stable enough, and basically that to maintain the day program. But they were all seriously overbooked, and so there were a lot of people that were on the borderline, and this guy was one of them. I mean, he did not want to be released, and he was really agitated. And so, I'm talking to him and say, listen, can we make it through the night? Okay, we'll take it up in the morning. If you really feel you want to go back, let's see if we can get you back in. Okay. And to give him a name, I'll admit my nasty side. He was a short guy. He was kind of pasty, very white, very pasty, pudgy, and I started thinking of him as Pillsbury Doughboy. Oh. I didn't call him that. Don't worry about it. But I didn't call him that. Anyway, so we have our group dinner, and like I say, some people go back to most people hang out. But he went back to his room. Now, it just so happened that at that time in the house, there were two black guys from Chicago. They didn't know each other, but they were both in the house at the time. They're both really earnestly trying to get through whatever it was that got them into the house. And so they're in the living room with a few other residents, and we're just having a nice conversation. And this guy comes in. I could see he's kind of like hovering over our conversation. I could still see he's real agitated. And the first break where he can say something, he says something overtly racist. And I see the two guys, they notice it. But the conversation started to continue. And before, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to pull him aside. And he comes out with another thing. Now I'm starting to get ready to break up a fight. But before I can start to develop a strategy, he goes storming back into his room. And it's almost like you hear in the group, okay, that's over. I think I'm going to go check on him. But before I can do that, I hear his door open again, and the front door goes slam. So I run to the front window and take a look outside, and I see this pudgy white guy standing in the middle of the street in his boxer shorts, screaming his head off. Which sounds amusing, screaming his head off in this really pretty Victorian neighborhood in San Francisco. But again, some backstory is important here. Sometime that year, a resident of another halfway house beat somebody from the neighborhood to death, completely unprovoked. So it was a very nervous time for facilities like ours. Well, I ran right out there, and it seems to have this ability, I know what to say. And with him it was obvious because he wanted to be hospitalized. All I had to I just looked at him and said, let's go, get into my car. And he immediately quieted down. And I pointed to the corner, just walked him to the car. Now I had to get back up. So I asked him, can you sit in the car long enough, to let me go get back up? And I talked to the guy on the phone. The house was stable enough. I could leave it unattended. Drove, took a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, drove him back to that same hospital, and he took him back in and came back to the house. And some of the people were still, still concerned. In fact, I was talking to one of the guys from Chicago and just talking over, and I said, well, if he got violent, it didn't seem like it would have been much of a problem. And this guy said, whoa. Didn't you see his thighs? Somehow what this guy noticed, Arthur's like some serious muscle definition under the guy's thigh. So the guy did have some training, and as it turned out, some serious military training. Now check this out for a bizarre twist of fate. It turned out that the director of one of the other halfway houses went to school with this guy at Annapolis Military Academy. Not only to go to school with this guy, but he went to dinner at this guy's house. Now check this out. The guy's dad was an admiral in the Navy. Okay, you go to dinner at your friend's house, but it's like the father makes his entrance in full uniform. That would drive anybody crazy, wouldn't it? Grow up like that. I was thinking back to Arthur, the thing about hearing voices in your head, it seems to be, maybe it's just like a miswiring, everybody has self-recriminations, everybody has, remembers nasty things. Everybody has doubts about themselves, but it's in this particular circuitry, and it just doesn't seem to overlap. And in some poor folks, it does maybe overlap with the auditory circuitry. So maybe that was brain wiring, but with our other friend, it was nature nurture. There with the fortune. So where was the guy going to go? Where was it going to go next? I know where it was going to go. Musical interlude.